What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the garage. We're back out here on the OBS. If you watched the previous video to this one, part one, you saw that the OBS is not wanting to run. We did some troubleshooting. We changed out a bunch of parts, but we did not fix the problem. So we're back out here to hit it again. I picked up some more supplies, as you can see behind me here. So we're going to jump in again, and we're going to try to get this thing figured out so we can get this truck running again. I went ahead and picked up an entire fuel pump assembly set from the local hardware store. But while I was there, or on my way there, I had an idea. What if it's the relay? Because the relay is way easier to replace than that pump assembly. So I grabbed both. I don't have the time or the assistance to do the pump right now because you got to either pull the bed or drop the tank, and the tank is 100% full, so that's out of the question. We're going to have to lift the bed. But we can try this relay and see if that fixes it. I know it's a long shot, but this problem started when the battery was on the low side from having the doors open and the lights on, cycling the key a few times, installing those power seats. So, I mean, if that relay hit low voltage and tripped out, then it's possible. At least I want to believe it's possible. So we're going to try that real quick to see if that resolves our issue, and if so, I'm going to be ecstatic because that means I don't have to pull this bed. Let's try the easy thing first. So let's check it out. All right, so everything is still connected up the way it was where we left off on the old video. Just a quick recap: we've got the factory fuel line coming in with an adapter that goes to a soft hose that connects to the T for the gauge, and then a couple of feet of fuel line going around to another adapter that threads into the TBI. I had to kind of piece this together because the kit that I ordered did not come with the proper connector, and I even tried to rent the one from the parts house, and it had an adapter that would go right here, but it was like a T adapter, and the T part was so long that it was hitting the intake and it wouldn't allow it to thread on. So this is what we have. So far it hasn't seen a lot of pressure because the fuel pump somehow is not working. So once we fix this, we may pop it, but for now it is what it is. You got the gauge up here, and if you guys don't know, the relay is underneath this cover. It actually says it right here on top, fuel pump relay, right there. So I'm going to pull that cover off, get the other relay. We'll hit the key and make sure we don't have any fuel pressure now because it seems to be intermittent. As long as that stays zeroed out, we'll switch out that relay and see what happens. All right, let's hope. All right, so I got the cover off of the relay in this area. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm trying to set up the camera where y'all can see the gauge and what I'm doing. So I'm going to go turn the key on. We'll make sure the gauge stays zeroed, and then we'll plug in that new relay and see what happens. All right, key is on. Gauge is still pegged at 0. So this is the new relay here. It's just like the old. So all right, got it unplugged. I'm going to plug the new one in and let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. All right, new one's in. Nothing happened. I'm going to cycle the key just to make sure. But it looks like we're not getting the easy fix. with no fuel pressure. It's not running very well, but it's running. I don't understand. I really don't. I'm going to let it idle for a while and see if it continues to run, because it's done this before, but only for a few minutes, and then it shuts off because it doesn't have proper fuel. I'll come back and let you guys know what happens. All right, so that didn't fix it. It idled for a while. I shut it off and turned it on. And now it's doing the same thing again. I can show you where it just spins. No fuel pressure, and it just... You get nothing. So it was not the relay. We're going to have to change the pump, which is unfortunate because I'm going to have to pull this bed. But at least we know. I mean, that's the last thing. Nothing else left to do. So maybe this weekend I can get on it. I'll have to get some help probably. But for you guys, it'll be in just a minute, so we'll see you then. Alright guys, so I've been back out here working on this truck because I'm frustrated and it's really pissing me off. I learned something. I learned that the the Amazon fuel pressure testing kit is junk. So as you can see, the truck is running and it has fuel pressure. So we learned that the valve, the Schrader valve for this piece here, it was bad. I tried the air chuck with it there, and it would not, air would not flow through it no matter how hard I pushed. So I sacrificed another one. It's over here on the bench. I sacrificed this adapter, pulled the valve out of it, and swapped them, and now it's reading correctly. Let me open this back door because it's going to get gassy in here. There we go. So now that the truck is running, I had my buddy Silver help me out. We also pulled the filter back off just to double check flow direction and make sure there wasn't any junk in it, and there wasn't. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in here, but that came out of the old filter. But I don't know. So we're going to let it run and see if it starts stuttering again, if that pressure dives. It may be like an intermittent issue, but right now it's running great. It fired right up, no problem. So I'm still stumped, but we'll see what happens. All right, so it ran for a little while and then it shut off again. And we watched the gauge, and the gauge stayed at 10. So it's not fuel pressure, it's not the fuel pump. It's something completely else. And I know the last thing I did before working on the seats was to fill up with fuel, and I filled up at it's a Kroger, right? So it's I mean, they turn over their fuel regularly, so it shouldn't have been bad gas, but we think it may have been bad gas. So we're trying to use the fuel pump to pump out like 5 gallons or so to get all the crud out of the bottom. And we ran the battery dead. So we're charging the battery up. I can't figure out how to jump the fuel pump relay to just make it stay on. If I could figure that out, that would be helpful. But we're just going to use turn the key on and hit the starter and let it pump. It's pumped out a little bit already. I'm hoping if I pump like 5 gallons out of it, that'll take the junk with it. That's water in the fuel or something, I don't know. But we're gonna let it charge for a while and come back and hit it in a minute and see what happens. All right, guys, the saga continues. The truck will run for a few minutes and then cut out, and run for a few minutes and then cut out. I've had a couple of buddies come over and we've kind of put our heads together and we feel that it's bad fuel. We're going back to that one. The pump works. I actually figured out how to jump a hot wire to the relay plug to the battery and turned the pump on. So we pumped 5 gallons out already, and it's running better, but it's still dying. So they went to go get some more fuel tanks, and we're going to pump more out. The problem is it's completely full. It's 25 gallons worth of fuel, so it's going to be a little while, but we're going to pump out some of this and try to pump out whatever's bad and try it again. So hopefully it works. All right, guys, next installment of the saga of the not running OBS. We left off yesterday evening verifying the fuel pump works. My fuel gauge was bad. This truck still won't run. We did some testing, and one of the guys felt that maybe the spark was weak. I mean, it is sparking, but it's not very bright. So luckily for us, our local parts places have plenty of parts for OBS, and they had this Blue Streak ignition coil in stock. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that on real quick. Battery's been charging all night, so we should have a good solid charge. Yep, it's green. I'm going to throw that on real quick and see what happens. I really hope this fixes it. I'm frustrated. I'm tired of messing with this thing. I need the truck to run and drive so that I can do other stuff, more fun stuff. The garage is trashed from all of the iterations of tests. I've got 15 gallons of fuel sitting here that I thought was bad, but the truck still doesn't run right. So, all right, I'm going to put this coil in, see what happens. Cross your fingers. All right, so I got the old one out here, got the new one. And I just come to the realization that this bracket here on the bottom it's like it's riveted on. It's not a screw or a bolt. It's actually a rivet. So I'm gonna have to cut that off, move it over to this one, and then put it back on either with a nut and bolt combination I can find in my stash, or I do have a rivet gun, a rivet manual rivet puller. Either way, I'm gonna grind these off probably with the Dremel or something and get the brackets off and then switch them over. So, progress. Tried to just, let's focus here. Tried to grind this one off and just punch it out, but it didn't move. It's in there. So I used the center punch to start a little starter spot in both of them. Come on, focus. Anyway. And then I'm going to just drill it out with a drill bit. Get that done, and then we'll get it bolted up. Alright, drill bit, made short work of it. It's got to be something really soft, aluminum or something. So it went right through there nice and quick. Used a little punch to knock out the residual. So we got the brackets. I have to remember which way they go. I'm pretty sure this side was on the round side. And so it goes like that. So I'm going to get it put back together real quick, and then we'll get it installed. New coil is installed. I went ahead and took off all of the fuel pressure stuff and put the fuel line back into the throttle body there. We know we have fuel pressure. The pump ran and pumped 15 gallons of fuel with no hiccups, so I'm confident that it's good. So we now have that connected up. So now is the time, I think. One word of advice, see that bolt there, right in the middle of the screen? That holds down one side of the coil. Don't remove that all the way. It is a pain to get back in. That bracket is notched, so you remove the one on the back side there, and then loosen this one and it'll slide out. You don't have to take that one out. I spent the last 15 minutes getting that bolt back in, and I'm pretty sure it's cross-threaded, but it is what it is. All right, battery's charged, fuel line's connected, new coil's in place. It's time. Cross your fingers. Once again, hopefully you never uncrossed them, because it's been a show. All right, key in, fuel pump primed. All right, here we go. so it started, barely, but it's done that before. That is, it could be that there was air in the fuel lines from having that line off, but it started that way before, and it'll run for a few minutes and then it'll die again. So I'm gonna open up the garage doors and let it idle and report back. Well guys, it ran about 5 minutes and it died again. It surged a couple of times and then made a loud hissing noise from the throttle body and then shut off. I'm completely lost, guys. I've replaced or verified everything. The pump works. There's a new coil, new plugs, new cap, new rotor, new cables. It's got plenty of air. There's no filter on it. Everything's there. Unless I just have absolutely trash gas, but it's from a reputable gas station that's high volume that turns over their gas regularly. So I don't think that's the case. I'm completely frustrated. I don't know what else to do. If you guys have any comments or suggestions, put them up. Let me know. Let me know what to check next. Well guys, I'm completely at a loss on this one. I've replaced or checked every single thing in the system. I have no idea what else to do. I guess I'm gonna have to call in a professional. If you guys watch this video and y'all see something that maybe I missed, please in the comments let me know. I got to get this thing going so I can get working on the CJ. I'm gonna finish this one off and go ahead and get this posted up so you guys can see it. Please subscribe if you want to keep up with the saga here and try to help me fix this thing. Maybe if we put our minds together, we can figure it out. So I'm gonna finish this one off. You all guys have a good one and rock on.